Assalamualaikum and hi everyone, my name is Putri Nurul binti Johazad. Our group will present a case study about stocks level update system for MummyRQ Sdn Bhd. Before we start, this is our group members: Zul Zaihan, Aida Afrina, Nur Arni Hazwani, Nurul Izzah Shahida, Fatin, and me, Putri Nurul Syahira. I will start with problem statements. There are some issues that can be fixed based on the current system. The existing system used by the company is not effective and very outdated. The updated current system, which records all the incoming products in the inventory book, clearly shows that the system has obvious problems when it comes to the company supplier registration. Basically, it requires a lot of staff to be in charge and monitor from time to time. So, almost all the time, the suppliers have to wait for a moment because of the manual process, which makes the time to be dragged. Even worse, the staff often make errors and mistakes when it comes to the registration process due to their workloads. The second problem is the inefficient shipment schedule of the goods. All the staff need to recheck all the items received. Staff also need to record the time and all the product details received manually. Another problem that will occur because of the system use is wrong information in stock data. The task becomes quite difficult when the staff need to record the validity period of the products manually. Also, it is hard to identify duplicates and might cause the stock received to be incorrect. For example, the type of stock was wrong and duplicate during the recording process. Lastly, the company's important information is recorded manually. Then, this situation will put the company into risk and problem in the future. For example, the recorded files will corrupt if anything disaster happens, such as flash flood. Next, objective database. The objective of MummyRQ is to strengthen organizational skills during delivery and updating the inventory process. By using an automatic timesheet, the company can save time and will reduce the employee burden for the management session in the shipment schedule. This can make the company's performance will be improved and all the suppliers more likely to make a deal with this company. This new system can also assist company employees in avoiding errors and misunderstanding. For example, among the most common misunderstandings are errors in recording the shipment's date and errors in the type of product for customers. It can also manage the system to make the shipment status issue more coordinated. Other than that, the MummyRQ objective is to keep improving the efficiency of the company's product service. With this updated system, the company's performance in terms of product management is more secure and saves time. If the company still uses the manual system, it will affect the reputation of the employees. Among them, employees need to work overtime and will waste time if they still use this manual system. Last but not least, the MummyRQ objective is to enhance suppliers and customer satisfaction. The customer's positive word of mouth will lend our brand credibility, popularity, and help us to acquire our new customers. A truly satisfied customer is one who will be loyal to our business for a long time to come. Other than that, supplier satisfaction will surely give a lot of benefit for both parties. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Aida Afrina binti Husli and I'm gonna proceed with the ERD. So this is the entity relationship diagram for MummyRQ Sdn Bhd. As you can see, there is 9 entity table here, so I will explain about this whole ERD. Let's look at the warehouse table. It is connected with 3 other tables, right? Which are contract, order made, and also stock. So before that, let me just explain roughly about this diagram. Okay, start with a warehouse. Warehouse is actually will assign a contract with supplier for any order that have been made by the warehouse. The order will consist with details of the product and of course with will including the product, right? Then a warehouse might key in and store their stocks for every product that they have. So to conclude this, the product is actually come from the supplier that warehouse make a contract with. Then after the order has been made, supplier will generate a bill and then proceed with the shipment. Okay, now I will tell you the business rules and connectivity for each table. First, we take a look at warehouse and contract. A warehouse can assign many contracts, and many contracts can be assigned by a warehouse. It is a one-to-many relationship. Move to a stock table. A warehouse can store many stocks, and many stocks can be stored by a warehouse. So this is also one-to-many relationship. Move to the order made table. A warehouse can make many order, and order can be made by many warehouse. This is also one-to-many relationship. Order will consist order details. Okay, for order details table, it actually function as a bridge for order made and also product. So product will include with the order details also. For product table, here it is connected with stock and also supplier table. So it have stock ID and supplier ID for the foreign key. The product is provided by a supplier. Here we know that it is connected with contract table, the one-to-many relationship. A supplier can possess many contracts, and contract can be possessed by one and only supplier. So the supplier will then generate a bill. For bill table, we have supplier ID as foreign key. Then the bill will be sent by a shipment. Then shipment will send the bill that be made by supplier. The relation is many to one because many bills can be sent by a shipment, and a shipment can send many bills. Okay, that's all for ERD segment.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Hazwani binti Halim with metric number 2019243732, and I'll be presenting about how to create table statement and the output. So first we have warehouse. This is how we create warehouse table. And for warehouse ID, we use baca because we want to mix the number and character. For not null unique, we use it because warehouse ID is a primary key. And warehouse ID cannot be duplicated, and it must have a value. As you can see, warehouse ID is the column, baca is the data type, and not null unique is the constraint. It cannot be empty, and the unit cannot be duplicated. So next we have warehouse description. This also we use baca because we want to mix the number and the character. Warehouse address, we use baca 100 because basically all address have a very long character, and we state it as not null because all warehouse must have address. So we go to warehouse type date. We use data type date because it is date, and not null because everything have a date. And for time operation, same with warehouse type date, we use data type time and not null. And lastly, primary key warehouse ID. The reason why we choose warehouse ID as the primary key because warehouse ID is not null unique. So here is the output for warehouse table. We have warehouse ID, warehouse description, warehouse address, warehouse start date, and warehouse operation time. Next, we go to how to make order made table. So basically it is all same with the previous table. We use order ID, baca because we want to mix number and character. Not null unique because we use it as the primary key. The unit cannot be duplicated, and it must have a value. So for order status, we use baca 2. Order date, we use data type date because it is date. Order method, baca 50, not null. The description, same with the previous table. Warehouse ID, and for foreign key is warehouse ID. Difference warehouse ID, and the primary key is order ID. Why we choose warehouse ID as the foreign key is because it is linked with the previous table. Primary key, we use order ID because order ID is not null unique. So here is the output for order ID table. For stock table, everything is same with the previous table. Just for stock quantity, we use INT because we don't use decimal. for quantity. Here is the output for stock table. We continue with supplier table. In supplier table, all is same with the previous table. So here is the output for supply table. Okay, we continue with product table. This is how we create product table. For product table, first product ID, we use bacha because we want to mix number and character, not null unique, because product ID is the primary key. Product name, we also use bacha and not null. Product price, we use decimal because we write price in decimal, like I am RM4.20, so it is in decimal. Next, product quantity, same as the previous table. Next, for expired date, we use data type date because it is for date. Stock ID bacha, supplier ID bacha, and the rest is same with the previous table. And here is the output for product table. Continue with order details table. This is how we create order details table. Everything is same with the previous table. So here is the output for order details table. Okay, so next we go to contract table. This is how we create contract table. For contract ID, we use bacha because it mix number and character, and not null unique because it is a primary key. The unique cannot be duplicate, and it must have a value. And for start date, we use data type date because it is for date, and not null because the date can be duplicate. Same with contract end, we use data type date also. Contract description, we use bacha. Same with warehouse ID. For supplier ID, we also use, and the foreign key is warehouse ID and supplier ID. Lastly, primary key is contract ID. So here is the output for contract table. For the second last table is shipment table. So for shipment table, everything is same with the previous table. Shipment ID, we use bacha, not null unique because it is the primary key. Shipment name, we use bacha. For shipment date, we use data type date. Shipment cost, we use decimal. Shipment description, bacha. Shipment description, bacha. And lastly, the primary key is shipment ID. So here is the output for shipment table. Finally, for the last table is bill table. This is how we create bill table. For bill table, we have bill ID and we use bacha and not null unique because it is a primary key. Next, for bill date time, we use date and time. Bill amount decimal, not null. Tax decimal. Total amount decimal, not null. Shipment type bacha, not null. Shipment ID bacha, supplier ID bacha. And for foreign ID, we have shipment ID and supplier ID. Lastly, the primary key is bill ID. So here is the output for bill table. To create table statement, we just need to know what data type we use and what constraints we use. So if we know what data type and constraint we use, we can create table easily and perfectly. So I think that is all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Zulzahhan bin Zulzalani and I'm from CS1434B. So now I would like to continue my presentation from my friend. So now we are already in section 4, which is MySQL section. So we will use MySQL to find the answer. Okay, so the first question is from simple query, which is comparison operators. Okay, so the question state that write a query to display all unique couriers names except JNT. Order the result by shipment name descending order. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So we proceed to the part of application MySQL. Okay, so for the first step is we write a select distinct shipment name from shipment where shipment name does not equal to JNT and order by shipment name descending order. Okay, so we use select distinct because the question state that we need to find the all unique couriers names. So this, and from shipment because the courier's name is from the table shipment. Okay, so next, where shipment name does not equal to JNT because the question state that we need to find all unique couriers name except JNT. Okay, so for the final part, order by shipment name descending order. Okay, this is from the question also that state that we need to find the result by descending order. Okay, so after all the this, we click this to find an output. So here we are. Okay, so the output is shipment name, post laju, GDEX and FedEx. So this is the query. Select distinct shipment name from shipment where shipment name does not equal to JNT, and order by shipment name, and the output is post laju, GDEX and FedEx. So now we continue to the next question, which is simple query, but this time is logical operators. So the question state that write a query to display all order details that succeed and paid online. Order the result by order date in descending order. So now we proceed to the MySQL. Okay, so we use select star from order made where order status equal to succeed and order method equal to online, and order by order date descending order. Okay, so we use select star because the query state that display all. So when we use all, we need to use star in the MySQL. Okay, so from the order made, because the query is from order made table, and where order status equal to succeed and order method equal to online, because the question asks to find that succeed and online. So we use and to combine the where operators, and for the final part, we order the result by descending order, order date. So here is the output. So there is only two output. So here is the queries. Select star from order made where order status equal to succeed and order method equal to online, and final part order by order date descending order. So this is the output. Okay, so now we move on to the next part which is column function, question 2. Okay, so the question asks us to write a query to display the average of the total amount from the bill table and rename it as total average. So now for the MySQL application, we use select average total amount as total average from bill. Okay, so why we use average function? Because the question state that we need to display the average. So we use the average function from the total amount. So as is when the question state that rename it as total average. So we need to use as to rename it as total average. Okay, so from bill, because the total amount is from the table bill. So after all of this, we click this to see an output. So the total average for the total amount from the bill is here. Okay, so this is the queries that we are using. Select average total amount and as total average from bill, and so this is the output. Okay, so we proceed to the question 4, which is column function, question 3. Okay, so the question state that write a query to display minimum and maximum price from the product table and rename it with the lowest price and highest price. Okay, so we proceed to the application of MySQL. Okay, so we use select min product price as lowest price, max product price as highest price from product. Okay, so we use select minimum product price because the question state that we need to find and display the minimum product price, and it state that we need to rename it as lowest price. So that's why we are using minimum product price and we rename it as lowest price, and max product price as higher price. So this is from product table, so we use from product. So we click this to see an output. Okay, so the lowest price from the product table is 3.6 and the highest price from the product table is 35.8. Okay, so this is the queries that we are using. Select minimum product price as lowest price, max product price as highest price, and from product table. Okay, so this is an output. Okay, so that's all from me, and I would like to pass this presentation to my friend. See you next time. Bye bye.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Fatim binti Muhammad Jamil and I will be explaining about join query and subquery in SQL. Okay, so for join query, the first question is write a query to display the product ID, name and price, and also the supplier first name and last name of the product supplied. Order the results by the product price. Alright, so moving on to the SQL. The question wants us to display product ID, name, price, and also supplier F name and last name. Okay, so we will write select p.product_id, p.product_name, p.product_price, s.supplier F name, s.supplier L name from product P and supplier S. Okay, the reason why we put the letter P and S after product and supplier is to classify which table we are referring for. For example, if you notice p.product_id, that means product ID is referring to the table product. Okay, so after the command select, we will put everything that we want to display. For example, the question wants us to display product ID, name, price, and also supplier first name and last name. So that's why we put p.product_id, product name, product price, supplier F name, supplier L name after the command select. Okay, because we are joining two different tables, we need to find what attributes is the common one between those tables. Okay, so for this case, for table product and table supplier, the common attribute is supplier ID. That is why we put where p.supplier_id is equal to s.supplier_id. Okay, and the question also wants us to order the results by the product price. Okay, so that is why we put order by p.product_price and then semicolon. Okay, and then we will run this command and the output will be like this. Okay, as you can see, everything that we want to display has been displayed here. The product ID, product name, product price, supplier F name, and supplier L name. All the things that we need to display has been displayed here. And if you notice also, we need to order the results by the product price, right? So please look at the product price. It is being ordered from 3.60. The first row is the 3.60, which is the least one, and then it is ordered by according to ascending order to 35.80. So that means the product price is being so everything is being ordered by product price. Alright, so this is the command that we use for question number 1 and also the output after running the command in SQL. Alright, so for join query question number 2, the question is write the query to display the stock ID, name, quantity, last update, and also the name of the product for the stock. Order the result by stock last update in descending order. Okay, so let's move on to the SQL. Alright, because the question wants to display the stock ID, name, quantity, last update, and also the name of the product for the stock, we will write the command as select s.stock_id, s.stock_name, s.stock_quantity, s.stock last update, and also p.product_name from product P and stock S. Okay, same goes to before this, we put the letter P and S after product and stock to classify which table it is referring to. So, for example, for s.stock_id means stock ID is referring to table stock, while p.product_name means product name is referring to the table product. Okay, so because we are joining two different tables, so we need to we need to identify which attribute is the common ones in both tables. So for this case, in table product and stock, the common attribute is stock ID. So that's why we write where p.stock_id is equal to s.stock_id. And the question wants us to order the result by stock last update in descending order. So we need to order the result in descending order. So because we want to order the result in descending order, we need to write the command stands for descending. So if you don't write anything, the
when you run it, it will order the result in ascending order. So if you want it to be in descending, you need to write DESC. Okay, so that's why we write DESC, because the question wants in descending order. So that's why the command is order by s.stock last update DESC. Okay, next we will run this command and the output will be, alright, if you look at the output, everything that we need to display has been displayed. There's stock ID, stock name, stock quantity, stock last update, and also product name. And because the question wants us to order the result by stock last update in descending order, please look at the stock last update. So the first row is 2021 0611, and also the last row is 2021 0506, means stock last update is being everything is being ordered in descending order. Alright, so this is the command that we use for question number 2 and also the output. Alright, so moving on to question number 3. Write a query to display the bill ID, total amount, payment type, and also the courier's company's name for the bill. Order the result by bill total amount in ascending order. So, because the question wants us to display the bill ID, total amount, payment type, and also the courier company's name for the bill, we will write select b.bill.id, b.total.amount, b.payment type, s.shipment name from bill B and shipment S. So b.bill.id means bill ID is referring to table bill, and s.shipment name means shipment name is referring to table shipment. Okay, because you are joining two different tables, we need to find out what is the common attributes in both tables. So the common ones is shipment ID. That is why we write where b.shipment ID equals to s.shipment ID. Okay, the question also wants us to order the result by bill total amount in ascending order. So we write order by b.total amount. So we will run the command and the output will be, alright, so if you can see from the output, everything that we need to display has been displayed: bill ID, total amount, payment type, and also the shipment name. And because the question wants us to order the result by bill total amount in ascending order, so look at the total amount. The first row is 394 ringgit 40 cent, and the last row is 962.80, means the total amount is being ordered in ascending order. Alright, so this is the command that we use for question number 3 and also the output after running it in SQL. For subquery question number 1, list product ID, expired date, stock ID, and product name of all those products that have expired date before 1st January 2022. So, because we want to display the product ID, expired date, stock ID, and product name, we write a command of select product ID, stock ID, product name, expired date, and from product, because we are referring to table product right now. And then because we want to display only those products that have expired date before 1st January 2022. So we will use subquery here. So the command is where expired date, because we want to we want to focus on the expired date. In brackets, select expired date from product, where expired date is less than 2022 0101, and then we run the command and the output will be, okay, so as you can see from the output, everything that we need to display has been displayed here: product ID, stock ID, product name, and also the expired date. And if you look at the output, the products that have been displayed here are the products that the only products that have the expired date before 1st January 2022. So the products after that has expired date after 1st January 2022 will not be displayed. So if you want to display that one, you need to change the query up there. So this is the command that we use for question number 1 subquery and also the output. Alright, so for the last question for subquery, question number 2, list all bill ID, bill amount, and average total amount, where average total amount is greater than the minimum of total amount. So moving on to the SQL. Alright, because we need to list all the bill ID, bill amount, and also the average total amount, we will write a query of select bill ID, bill amount, average total amount from bill, because we are referring to table bill right now. And then because we want the average total amount to be greater than the minimum of total amount, so we will write a query, a subquery here. So having average total amount greater than, and then select minimum total amount from bill. So we will run this query, and then the output will be, alright, so everything that we need to list has been listed here: bill ID, bill amount, and average total amount. Alright, so this is the query that we use for question number 2 subquery, and also the output that after running it in SQL. I guess that is all from me. Thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So first of all, my name is Nurul Izzah Syahidah Bhd. So today, I would like to present about the last part for our project, which is the conclusion. As the conclusion, this project is designed to meet the requirements of the system, which able to meet the objective to the satisfaction of the management, staff and supplier. Therefore, we have developed a system named Stock Level Update System for MummyRQ Sdn Bhd to computerize the supplier and product registration. Next, the system is significant improvement to replace existing current system, which is carried out manually. In addition, all the information is done manually, which is the administration use a paper, inventory book, and also a lot of journal book will be used. It will be difficult for the staff to find information in a short time. Besides, manual system will increase probability mixing the data and chances of making mistake, such as overlapping data or enter wrong information. Because of that, it will be difficult for the staff and they will be busier, especially when there are too many stock are arrived. As we can see, the computerized system will provide better service for the staff, such as reduce time taken to find data, avoid damage, and also great user-friendly. In addition, the implementation of this project has done to increase integrity of data stored in system and eliminate data redundancy. Last but not least, in designing system, we have used ER diagrams, ERD, and have created the database system using IBM. At this completion of this project, stock level update system for MummyRQ Sdn Bhd has fully met the objective. We have overcome all the problems that occur in existing system. By using this system, we hope that it can work with more efficiency and effectively to generate the registration for this company. Alright, so I think that's all from us for the presentation to our project. I hope all the information we have provided is enough to explain and provide information about the project we do. So that's all from us. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.